Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Green Labs Forum webinar. Our agenda begins with an introduction section where I will introduce our speakers for today. We will also go over a brief overview of the Green Labs mission, motivation, as well as our target audience. This will be followed by a discussion of 4 of the current projects that we're working on in the Office of Sustainability as a part of Green Labs. These include the upcoming International Freezer Challenge, our Green Lab certification process, the glove recycling program, a pilot initiative, followed by the autoclave and ultra-low temperature freezer efficiency research studies. We will conclude with contact information for our office. Due to the current COVID-19 situation, we have recorded this webinar for your convenience. Please feel free to contact us in case of any questions or further clarifications with respect to the topics covered today. We would love to stay in touch and answer any questions you have. Let's move on to our introduction section. The Green Labs team consists of 4 dedicated UCR students from varying backgrounds who are passionate about research, science, and the environment. We are a team of 3 undergraduate students and a graduate student supervisor. Allow me to introduce our speakers. First up is Carmen, who is a third-year environmental science major. She will be talking about the upcoming International Freezer Challenge. Next is Kylie, a second-year student majoring in computer science. She will provide some information about her very own Green Lab certification process. Next up is Alexis, who is a fourth-year environmental engineering major. She will shed some light on the new glove recycling program. Lastly, I, Pushali, a master's student in biomedical sciences, will briefly talk about 2 of our ongoing research studies. I'm the newest recruit in this enthusiastic team, and I was drawn to this program specifically to contribute to the research arm and help laboratories explore sustainable alternatives without compromising research. I'm located at the MRB, and I work in Dr. Byron Ford's lab, so feel free to introduce yourself in case you see me there. So what is the Green Labs all about? As a team within the UCR Office of Sustainability, we work in partnership with My Green Lab, which is a non-profit organization with a mission to build a culture of sustainability through science. Our primary mission is to promote the reduction of the energy and resource waste generated by laboratories at UCR without interfering with the objectives of research. This is a crucial aspect of our work. Our target audience includes principal investigators, lab managers, lab personnel, and undergraduate as well as graduate students working in labs. On that note, I would like to hand over this presentation to our next speaker, Carmen, who will introduce the International Freezer Challenge.
Thank you, Pushali. My name is Carmen, and I will be introducing the International Freezer Challenge. I am the facilitator for UCR's participation in the International Freezer Challenge, which means I am responsible for the research and promotion of this program. I have been working for the Office of Sustainability since the fall of 2019. First of all, what even is the International Freezer Challenge? The International Freezer Challenge is a worldwide cold storage competition that allows labs to earn points based on how well they manage their cold storage. Cold storage in this case includes lab freezers, the -50s, -80s, -40s, and -20s, refrigerators, and cold rooms. The Freezer Challenge generally runs from December to May, but in light of the coronavirus pandemic, the end date has been postponed to July. Registration is currently open on freezerchallenge.org/register. Upon registration, participants will be granted access to the score sheet and a portal where they will submit the score sheet at the end. Labs can work at their own pace, access the score sheet as many times as needed during the challenge, and save their progress as they fill it in. For more information, go to freezerchallenge.org and watch LabRoot's webinar about cold storage and the Freezer Challenge. They present a plethora of helpful information and expand on what we discussed in this webinar. What are the benefits to joining the challenge? By participating in this competition, labs can reduce energy consumption, costs, and environmental impact of the lab, learn and apply proper cold storage maintenance techniques to help avoid future failures, remove unneeded or unviable samples from cold storage units, improve researcher access to and security for viable samples, develop ongoing efficient cold storage management practices, and get recognized for simple but effective practices. How does the challenge work? The Freezer Challenge rewards both existing best practices and the adoption of new practices. Participants answer the question on the score sheet pertaining to the four main categories: good management practices, temperature tuning, retirements and upgrades, and sharing and room temperature sample storage. Each action per refrigeration unit is worth 1 point. You can also earn points for practicing and sharing your own cold storage methods not listed on the score sheet. First, good management practices. Good management practices include defrosting of freezers, cleaning out your freezers and fridges every so often, keeping an inventory of your samples and contents in cold storage, and storing samples at high density. Ice buildup makes your freezer less effective, so aim to defrost your freezers a few times a year. Cleaning out your cold storage and keeping an inventory on Excel saves you a lot of time when deciding what you already have and what needs to be purchased. This also gives you the opportunity to get organized and find samples you forgot you had or lost a while back. In addition, storing samples at high density using shelves not only saves space, but can also make your samples easier to find. Second, temperature tuning. Temperature tuning entails adjusting the temperature of ULT freezers from -80 degrees Celsius to -70 degrees Celsius. A freezer set at -80 degrees Celsius needs to use more energy to cool down the inside of the equipment. This category also involves storing samples at appropriate temperatures. There have been many studies over the years that prove that samples, even the ones that do specify storage at -80 degrees Celsius, can survive if stored in -70 degrees Celsius. Third, retirements and upgrades. Retirements and upgrades are important because an old fridge can use up more energy and may not be as effective as storing your samples. We are not saying run out and buy a new freezer to replace your old one right now, but when the unit starts to malfunction, it's better to swap an older unit for a newer, more energy efficient unit. Furthermore, consolidating your samples into one freezer and retiring the now empty freezer can save energy too. When purchasing new units, look for ENERGY STAR models, which are energy efficient and cost effective. Last but not least, sharing and room temperature sample storage. Sharing refrigeration space with others not only saves space, but also saves energy. There will not be any mix-up if you label what samples are for your experiments or your colleagues. Another technique you can implement is a barcode or QR code to keep an easy-to-find inventory of your samples without having to write every tiny detail down. Storing reagents, well plates, and experiment kits at room temperature are also worth points. Now let's fast forward to the deadline. You have successfully submitted your score sheet. Now it's time to find out who wins. So how did they do that? Well, first, I2SL and My Green Labs will separate all participating labs into 4 sectors: academia, pharmaceutical and biotechnology, government, and clinical, hospital, or private research. Then they review your score sheet, compare it to other lab score sheets. This process takes months to complete as there are thousands of labs to review and rank. There are a few awards on the table. If your institution earned the highest number of points, you'll win the Everest Award. If your institution earns the highest number of points per number of participating labs, you win the Denali Award. Individual labs that earn the most points per refrigeration unit are also recognized. Winning labs will be awarded at the annual I2SL conference and have their picture published in Nature magazine. In addition, we have internal prizes just for participants from UCR. Challenge is just one of the exciting programs you run as Green Labs, and your participation is even counted towards points in the certification process, which Kylie will be talking about now.